Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharine Nirvase Sanivadi Paschataditani. Offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter of his lotus feet. All glories to you, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You're relieving the world, reclaiming the spirit souls, relieving the world from impersonalism and voidism, and spreading this message throughout the foreign lands. Some reflections from the Bhagavad Gita. Let us read from chapter 2, text number 58. Yada samharate chayam kurmam ganiva sarvashaha indriyan indriyartevyas tasya pragya pratishtita. Yada, when Samharate winds up, cha, also ayam, he, kurmaha, the tortoise, angani, limbs, iva like sarvashaha, altogether, indriyani, the senses, indriyartebhya, from the sense objects, tasya, his, pragya, consciousness, pratishta, fixed. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The test of a yogi, devotee, or self-realized soul is that he is able to control his senses according to his plan. Most people, however, are servants of their senses and are thus directed by the dictation of the senses. That is the answer to the question as to how the yogi is situated. The senses are compared to venomous serpents. They want to act very loosely and without restriction. The yogi or the devotee must be very strong to control the serpents. Like a snake charmer, he never allows them to act independently. There are many injunctions in the revealed scriptures. Some of them are do's and do-nots. Unless one is able to follow the do's and the do-nots, restricting oneself from sense enjoyment, it is not possible to be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. The best example set herein is the tortoise. The tortoise can at any moment wind up its senses and exhibit them again at any time for particular purposes. Similarly, the senses of the Krishna conscious persons are used only for some particular purpose in the service of the Lord and withdrawn otherwise. Arjuna is being taught here to use the senses for the service of the Lord, instead of for his own satisfaction. Keeping the senses always in the service of the Lord is the example set by the analogy of the tortoise who keeps the senses within. So, if one wants to understand his spiritual nature or his soul identity, separate from the material body, then one must transcend the influence of the mode of passion or Rajaguna, what to speak of, the mode of ignorance or Tamaguna. So, Icha dvecha samutena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani samoham sarvayanti parantapa. That Krishna tells Arjuna that all living entities are born into illusion, overwhelmed by the dualities of desire and hate. So one is born in ignorance, actually, and he identifies with his body as himself. And Arjuna was very attached to his family members who Krishna told him he must kill because they were perpetrators of evil. The Kauravas, Duryodhan, Dushashan, Karna, and Dhritarashtra were of a demoniac nature. They really weren't believing in God or the Supreme Lord Krishna. They didn't understand Krishna as being God. Although they may have followed some Vedic injunctions, people follow Vedic injunctions. They may worship a demigod, but they don't understand that Krishna in the Gita clearly says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. I'm the source of everything. I'm the source of everything. And Arjuna himself, once having come to his senses, told Krishna, Param Brahm, Param Dham, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhu. You're the supreme truth, Param Brahm, Param Dham, you're the supreme shelter. Pavitram, you're the supreme pure. Pavitram, Param. Purusham Shashvatam, you're the original person and the original truth. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, supreme divine being. Adidevam, and you are the source of all different gods. Shiva, Durga, Surya Bhagavan, Chandra Bhagavan, Agni, all the Rudra, all the various demigods are simply, the hosts of all demigods are simply emanating ultimately from God, Krishna. So, how to attain, control, and understand one's spiritual nature? And come to the platform of Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta means to understand that I am separate from the material body and material mind. Don't forget we have a subtle body called the mind, false ego, and intelligence. These are very subtle, so we can't touch them or smell them, or hear them, or see them, or taste them with our gross material body senses. But we know the mind is there because we have thoughts. The intelligence is there because you have the power of reason. If, therefore. If, then, therefore. If 2 plus 2 is 4, then 4 plus 4 must be 8. Things like that. Intelligence, power of reason. And then, of course, there is the ahankara. The false ego energy is constantly proud, full of pride. I am the cause of all of be. I am the cause of my happiness and distress, etc., etc. I am the doer. However, the body and the false ego, the subtle mind, and the subtle body, the gross body, unless one is given education and unless one experiences spiritual transcendental happiness, one will pursue and follow the dictations of the mind and senses, and the mind is always thinking how to enjoy within the material world. When we say mind, we mean the ahankar, the false ego energy, the materialistic intelligence, how I can get money so I can go and enjoy in a hotel, or go and enjoy in Thailand or somewhere, enjoyment of the material world. Like this, and the mind means the mind made up of thoughts and visual. There's video, audio in the mind. Imagery. So the image is some nice non-veg or some nice intoxication like this. So to control the senses, one must be like the yogi, or one must be like a kurma, tortoise, to pull the senses in when it's not being engaged. Otherwise, we engage our senses. Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Uttama. We engage our senses in the owner of the senses, Rishikesh, or Lord Krishna. So when the mind and body is engaged in service to Krishna, then Rasavarjam, in the next verse it says, Vishya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina. Rasavarjam rasopiyasya param dristva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, but the taste for sense objects may remain. But ceasing such engagements and then, so by controlling the mind and senses from sinful activities, non-veg, alcohol, cigarettes, sense pleasures, sense pleasures, sense gratification, tongue, belly, genital, like this. This is all sense drives. If one controls those and then chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. By chanting the names of God, one associates with God. Krishna is in his holy name, Nama Chintamani Krishna. Kali Kalera, Nama Rupa Krishna avatar. In the age of Kali, Lord Krishna comes in the form of his holy name to benedict all of us struggling, living souls. So we chant the names of God, and that is the process of yoga in this age of Kali. Prabhupada is speaking about the yogi. So the yogi or devotee must be very strong to control the serpents, just like a snake charmer. So the more we Krishnaize, the more we put Krishna within our mind, within our soul, within our heart, the more we use his tongue. Atashi Krishna namadi nabhavid gayam indrai. Sevan mukhe jivado swayam eva trachada. The more we chant the holy name of Krishna, jivado. Jiva means the tongue. Atashi Krishna namadi nabhavid gayam indrai. One glorifies the Lord with his tongue, and then the ears will hear the holy names, and as it enters into the heart, it purifies the heart of all material desires. We have three enemies: Kam, Krodh, Lobh. Trividam, Narakasidam, Dwaram, Nashnamatmana, Kama, Krodha, Tata, Lobha. Tasmat etam trayat tyajat. One must give up these three gates which are leading downwards into hell or downwards into darkness. Trividam Narakasidam. There are three gates which lead to Narak. Narak means a hell. But there's hell right here on earth. If a person is a drug addict, if a person is involved in a war, or a person is involved in violence, somehow subjugated to violence, or discrimination, or disease, some horrible disease, cancer, there's hellish. So like that, Trividam Narakasidam Dwaram Nashnamatmana Kamakroda Tataloba. Lust, anger, and greed are the three gates which one must close. So the first, lust, is what we're talking about, sense pleasure. Of course, the material world is characterized by the attraction for sex life. So pumso strio maitani baba metam tayor eva ridya grantimahu. Atogriya shetra sutapti vitar janasya moho yamayam amameti. In the 5th canto of Bhagavad Purana, it is described that man and woman get together, pumso strio maitani baba, when they combine with each other, tayor eva ridya grantim, the knot within the heart gets bigger and bigger. Ato griha kshetra. I need a house for me and my wife to enjoy. I need kshetra, property, land. Sutta, let's have some children. Aptar, I have relatives, friends and relatives. Janasya mohoyam, in this way I become bewildered by the concept of I and mine. I am this body, and everything I see within the realm of my purview belongs or will belong to me. In this way, one falls into the illusion of the body concept of life, And therefore he thinks, Chintamaparimam cha pralayantam upashitaha kamapaboga parama etabadidi nischitaha. It means that people think that to enjoy life, to enjoy their senses, kamapaboga paramo, is the ultimate goal of human life. Simply enjoy my senses, get as many material pleasures as I possibly can, and then I'll be happy. But Krishna warns, Patanti narake sutra, again, narak. This drives me down to ignorance and suffering and hellish existence. One time Lord Indra was cursed by a yogi, a muni, a great sage, a rishi, take birth as a pig, because he had Lord Indra, very lusty, and he seduced one woman. And so the rishi, the husband, he cursed Lord Indra, the Lord of Heavens, to take birth as a pig. And even in the pig body, very hellish life, living on stool, living in dirt, nasty existence, like that. So human beings don't understand that tatapralinas tamasa mudo jonasi jayate, that if one dies in the mode of ignorance, one who dies in the mode of ignorance consider himself to be the body, and being very lazy, addicted to intoxication and sleep, always angry, always frustrated, the mode of ignorance, addicted to eating the flesh of other creatures, addicted to abominable activities like hunting, alcohol, intoxicated, that's all mode of ignorance. Then tatapralinas tamasa mudo jonis sujayati, you take birth amongst the animals. Mudho jonisu jayatu. You take birth amongst the animal species. You don't get a human birth. At the time of your death, you drag down to Yamaloka, the place where Yamaraj is, in the lower, below this earth planet. There are many planets, other planets, the subterranean heavenly planets, the lower planets, the Atala, Sutala, Vitala, Atala, Sutala, Vitala, various lower planets where you can take birth. And Yamaloka is also in that area, where he punishes the rebellious and atheistic, foolish souls who wasted their human form of life in the pursuit of sense gratification, who deny the existence of God, and who consider themselves nothing but this temporary body. This body is simply yasyatma buddhi kunape tridatuke. Kunape tridatuke. The body is simply a bag. Kunape tridatuke, made of bile, mucus, urine, stool, bile, mucus, and air. Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. That's what this body is made of, according to Ayurveda. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridatuke. Sudi kalacharya shubhoma ejadi. If you think, oh, this land where I'm born is very, very sacred land, land of America, my home, my country. Foolish thoughts. You may have been born in China in your previous life. You may have been born in hell. Who knows? The soul never takes birth or dies. So your body is given according to your karma. Karmana Daivanachana. Based on your karma, the Lord Daivanachana, by the hand of God, He puts you in a certain womb. Dehu jantu papataye. Striyo pravishtumarara. You enter into the womb of a female. Pumso reta kanashaya, through the agency of the semen. Could be a bumblebee, bees, insects, they have semen. An animal, donkey, horse, snake, That's how it happens, male to female. And then the womb produces the species that you have taken birth in that womb. Yoni means species, it means the womb. So these are the terrible predicaments of our inhabitants of Kali Yuga, the inhabitants, the people of this Kali Yuga. So we have to control the senses and raise our consciousness. Param Dristva Nivartante, experience the highest state of awareness, the highest state of happiness, the highest state of consciousness, love for Krishna, Krishna consciousness. And for that, we need the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master who teaches us how, by practicing this Bhakti Yoga, the senses become broken like the fangs on the serpent. The fangs on the serpent can be broken by Krishna consciousness, by submerging the mind in Krishna consciousness. Machita Madgata Prana. Machita, always being conscious of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Madgata Prana, give one's life, dedicate one's life to the service of the Lord, mind, body, and soul, family, everything to be offered in devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That is explained in the Puranas, especially Srimad Bhagavad Purana, which is Nigama Kalpatarur Kalitam Phalam. Is the ripened fruit of all the Vedic literatures. It's Srimad Bhagavad Purana, which has been translated by our beloved spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, 12 cantos. So that is the purpose of our lives. As Prahlad Maharaj tells his father, Hiranyakashipu, the big demon, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. What is real learning is to know that there are 9 processes of devotional service to the Lord. Bhakti Yoga means devotional service to God. By engaging in these 9 processes, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Archanam Bandhanam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam. Smaranam, Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. 9 processes: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet, offering worship, offering prayers, making friends with the Lord, surrendering utterly to the Lord's lotus feet. In this way, there are 9 processes of devotional service. When we do this, like when we put a piece of iron in hot fire, ultimately after a few hours, the iron is no longer iron, but it's fire. It's fire-like, it becomes fire. So when we put our mind, body, and soul in the fire of Krishna consciousness, we become the Krishna conscious. We transform our entire consciousness onto Krishna. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhijimam namaskuru mam vaishasi satyam te pratijani priyosami. Always think of me, become my devotee, and worship me. Offer your obeisances to me. In this way you will come to me. Of this there is no doubt, because you are very dear to me. So devotee becomes dear to Krishna. Devotee means devotee of Krishna. Means without any motive, any desire, any payback. This is not a commercial enterprise, a mercantile. As Prahlad told Nishingadev, I'm not a merchant. My devotion to you is untarnished, unmixed with any material desire. Name, fame, power, sense pleasure, followers, all these things are simply like ghosts in the night, simply robbers, highway robbers trying to steal my pure devotion to the Lord. So be careful. Those who are devotees of Krishna have to be very careful, because the mind, which is the central intelligence, the mind and intelligence, they control this, are supposed to control the senses, but the materialistic mind will tell the senses, go here, enjoy that, go there, go here, go there, to enjoy the senses. So the mind, being the director in the body, in the city of the body, there he's the mayor. He's the mayor, and then he has all these servants: eyes, tongue, nose, ears, touch, skin, touch, like that, genitals. So all trying to serve the mind. The mind saying, go and enjoy this way, go and enjoy that way. The mind has to be controlled, and the senses have to be controlled. Samadhamma tapasocham shantir arjavam evacha. Jnana vijnana ashtikam brahma karma svabhavajam. A real Brahmin is not born by caste. Oh, I'm a Brahmin, my caste Brahmin. No. If you're not behaving like one, then you're not a Brahmin. One young man, he wanted to be a Brahmin. His mother was a prostitute. So he went to Gargamuni. I think it was Gargamuni or Gautam. He went to one Muni. He said, I'd like to be a Brahmin. So he went, okay, go to your mother and ask her what your father's caste is, and we'll see if you can be Brahmin. So mother was a prostitute. So he asked his mother, he said, I don't know who your father is. Went back to the Muni and said, I'm sorry, but my mother does not know who my father is. She's a prostitute. So then the Muni said, you're so truthful, you're so honest. You are a Brahmin, one who speaks the truth, Satyam. So in this way, it doesn't matter what kind of situation you're born in, if you have the qualities of truthfulness, self-control, practice of austerities, and you like to cultivate knowledge, swadhyaya, and you're simple, arjavam, and you practice austerities. No sinful activities means austerities. You don't like to smoke or eat non-veg, or overindulgence in your sense pleasures, sense gratification. This way you are a Brahmin. By quality and guna karma. Guna, quality, and your activities is quality.